Okay, so continuing on the same sutta of the Aganya Sutta is that your background looks pretty good now.
Okay, I use that.
Yeah, so thing here is that what we covered is first because of the corruption. See, earlier there is no corruption, so there is no need for classes. You don't have to create a class. Now, as the corruption enters into it, or even before, there's nothing to have sex. So there's no gross development of the bodies, right? So when the gross development of the bodies happen, then eventually the lust enters into a stage of identifying with the body. So we are habituated to have this liking for the so-called opposite sex because it looks different. So the contemplation for us should be to see that there is no difference. It is just the food. Food having a different fat and storage of fat and storage of muscles and tendons and all that and giving a different shape by itself doesn't have any shape. That should be our practice. If we do that, then what happens here? We are going back to the stage where we were before this madness happened on sensuality. Okay, so that is the development what we need to have. So we need to constantly reflect upon that we came from light and we didn't require anything. Slowly the greed entered, and because of the greed entered, we started tasting something. And when that increased, then we lost it, and hence the hatredness also increased along with the greed because you will not like what you lose. So you have to replenish it with something. Now I'm replenishing it with some food. So it can be both physical food and mental food. More of the physical, less of the mental, and as the grossness happens, the physical and the mental becomes half half. So I will start consuming the mental food as much as I'm consuming the physical food. Mental food is then caught up through the five senses. And the sixth sense, which is the mind sense door, then puts everything together for enjoyment. So now we come to the third kind from the Khattiya to Brahmana. Now we are coming into the Suddha. Suddha are those people who cannot recite nor they can take care of the fields in terms of protecting it, but they can manage the business. The first time the Vanijya, meaning uh, business, came into existence. So they started doing hunting and doing humble tasks for others, and hence they were not named as Suddha. Okay, so so this is how the identification started. So that you are a Khattiya because you are righteous and you can take care of the fields, ensuring that nobody steals it. And then these are the Brahmana who are supposed to be, in a way, what is now called as clergy is basically the Brahmana. Say that they have knowledge and they can inform population about what should be done and what should not be done, and ensuring that these people don't go and take something which is not given. They don't tell lies and don't um, slander, they don't gossip, and all of the 10 immoral deeds are to be removed by this class basically. But they are supposed to meditate enough to get that. And since they stopped meditating and they started citing and writing and all that, it became corrupted. So he says there comes a time when the Kshatriya, Brahmana, and the Vasa think that I would like to become an ascetic. So from these four circles, Vasetta, the circle of ascetics was created. So, and this is how it came to be. Oh, sorry, we had to go through the West, but I went into Suddha. Suddha is the fourth class. So the West is the one who does business, and the Suddha is the one who does the menial class or menial work. So the West is nothing but taking various jobs, and hence the first time the West was used. And why this Vesa happened is that they were overindulgent in their sexual life, and then they were producing their offsprings. And because they were producing their offsprings, they had to do something, sustain. And to sustain that, they have to work for someone or do something for someone. And hence, they started business. And the Suddha we already had covered. So then, this is how the ascetic classes come, that they all join together from all the four classes to then become samana, shramana in Sanskrit, or one who would put effort to end this problem. What's the problem? The problem is that I'm becoming more and more grosser. So I have to become more and more subtler. So I remember being subtle. I remember not being gross. If I don't take care of it, I start going even more gross as an animal. And hence the animal bodies are all very gross. We really see. Then we can ask a question, then what about the amphibians, the fish, insects? They are not gross. How does that happen? So there is a reason why that is how it is. It depends on the lifespan of those beings plus the karma which decides what kind of body has to take. So these four classes can do Duccharita, including an ascetic. Okay, and if they do a bad, then they are reborn in a realm which is not good. Whereas if somebody were to do a good, then they are born in heaven. So then he talks about the qualities that lead to awakening. In these four classes, if they were to end the defilements, ended, then they can achieve the goal. They can even end everything. So that means you can begin something like we started with the Abhasara realm and trying to go back and into the 31st level of existence, or you can roll out, roll back, and come into a place of distress. This is the how the beginning or the origin of the world happens. So basically, there's nothing secret about it. There's nothing magical about it. There's nothing something to feel that God is going to do something, or God is not going to do something, or it is my karma, or this or that. In doing 10 immoral deeds, is basically that the consciousness is pure and bright. With the attachment to the six sense doors and these five elements, it portrays something which is gross. So by understanding with wisdom, that is Panya Vimukti, Cheto Vimukti can be had. So the four classes what we are talking about are not caste system per se. They are based upon how the origin started, how it got degraded, and how it keeps on degrading itself more and more. And ultimately, when the contraction happens, they all go back to the origin, which is Abhasar. Yes, Arun.
Yeah, I remember reading maybe on Pure Dhamma that the reason beings go back to the Abhasaram is that when the living condition become worse and worse, like on Earth and other places, they become more aware of dukkha. Hence, they start giving up, and hence they go back. Is that there in any sutta, or that's
No, this is there in Aganya Sutta itself, right? When the contraction happened, it doesn't talk about anything which is
why?
dukkha or whatever it is, right? So, in the end of the cycle, irrespective of whatever they are, in fact, it's for all beings, including the Brahma realm to all the beings where good, where to be just a radiance.
So I guess the reason they go back is just there's no living condition for the other existences.
Exactly.
Not that their mind is magic
No, it is
somehow
not. It is
pure.
not. So that's the reason they again get corrupted.
Well, but at least they get a reset button, so that's a good thing.
But when? It's eons and eons and eons and eons of living and dying and living and dying. And then again they go back to come back again. So this is the fun part. Yes.
I thought a eon, or at least 4 eon, with this kalpa or whatever, is defined as a cycle of the universe, right? So
That's
every
correct.
cycle this happens. So it's not, they don't have to go eon and eon, I mean eon, then they go
Whatever
back.
it is a long life.
Yes, it is.
Simple. It's not going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah. But when these lower beings, when they go back, I guess imagine him versus someone who's a human or a deva. They probably have more defilement, I guess, accumulated. Does that mean they get corrupted more easily if the next opportunity presents
It
themselves?
need not be this way or that way, Aryu. The thing is that all beings, irrespective of whichever classes they belong to, where or have started from there, right? So, in a way, if we see any living beings, they are the same source. Only the physical structure seems different, but they are coming from there. Just because the body is cut doesn't mean that they have lost their life. Yes, you wanted to say something.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking if there's a reset button at least every eon, then it's a good thing. I mean, at least they get a
You
second
have
chance.
you have a reset button right now. Forget about an eon.
I know, but for the animals and those
No,
beings,
that you
the
leave
Buddhist
it. See what we
sticks.
no no you leave that. You what we need to understand through the Aganya Sutta is that all beings, irrespective of where come, they have come from there, right?
That
So
is understood. That is
now, if it
understood.
is understood, then we can send metta, right? If I create a class of beings in my mind, then I either feel superior or I feel inferior. So the objective here is to not to feel superior and inferior, irrespective of everything, anything at all. Like three of us here, all. What's a takeaway from for us? Is that we have started from there, right? As a streaming radiance. And hence, if we were to achieve the fourth jhana, you should be able to see the same streaming radiance. Why? Now the question comes, why? Because it cuts the gross. You are already that stream of light. What is blocking is the ignorance. Now, when I enter into the first jhana, and then to the second jhana, and to the third jhana, and the sukha, what is getting created, will cut off the body. This gross matter is there, and only the subtle exists. And when the subtle is existing, it should give you a better state of mind. Right? And when we enter into the fourth jhana, you should see light. Because that is primordial. That is where it all started. There's nothing as a achievement per se to say that I'm seeing light and I'm feeling like brighter than sun. And if you really see, since you were radiating so much, there was no need for sun and moon and stars. Because that radiance was not there, you require a separate light. Correct. So there's another sutta where he says that in that place, that is in the Nibbana, there is no need for sun or the moon and the star and the fire also. Why? Because you are superbly radiating. We need to take in that way. So when we look at an ant or a mosquito or cockroach or lizard or whatever, or any insect or microorganisms or whatever it is, they are those who were heedless and they kept on stumbling down and down and down and down. Then it has reached a state that we are able to see in that way. Same one, but seen in another way. Same one, seen as Khattiya. Same one, seen as Brahmana. Same one, seen as Vaisya. Same one, seen as Sudra or Suddha. And same one, seen as an ascetic. There's no difference. That's what he says. There are no new ones. They are the same beings, but due to their way of looking at life, they have been reborn in such an existence, or they have taken that existence. So, what he says in the end is that one who has Vijja Charana Sampanno, so Setto Deva Manusye iti, one who has Vijja Charana Sampanna is the setter, proficient, the best, or the first among gods and men. So it's there in the what is Buddha is Vijja Charana Sampanno. The 6 Vijjas and 15 Charana Dhamma is what makes a set, not the skin, not being born to someone or something. Right? And this is what is the Aganna Sutta. Yes.
Yeah, I guess so. The point is, even though we should not discriminate in terms of any being because the nature is of the same source, but still here it says this is first among. So it means in terms of aspiration, we should still look up to those have purity. So that level of discrimination should be there, but not the other type.
The discrimination is in viveka. It's what should be done and what should not be done rather than the classes of beings.
Yes, not the classes, but if we see Arhat, I mean, he's not a class per se, but the purity is there, so we should look up.
No, there are only
In that.
two. One is Sekha and Asekha. There's no
Yeah.
class. You and I might see it in that way, but in the Buddha Dhamma, there's no class. There's no distinction. It only has two things. One is Sekha, learner. One is Asekha, who has learnt. There's no in between.
Yeah, right. I mean, but that's some kind of class, right? I mean,
No,
however you want to.
no. Again, I wish to clarify. In Buddha Dhamma, there is no class. There is no distinction. There is nothing called as this is good and that is bad. Because if that is true, then again ends up in duality. But if you were to ask that, oh, I'm not an arhat and hence I have niramisas dukkha, that is true. Because I've still not become asekha. So if we look at the Vedana, we have Sukha Vedana, Dukkha Vedana, Asukha Dukkha Vedana. Like that, we have Samisa Sukha, Samisa Dukkha, Niramisa Sukha, Niramisa Dukkha. This one, that I'm still not an Arhat, is Niramisa Dukkha. Because I'm still a trainee. There's no class. Meaning there is no class distinction saying that, oh, he's a settha, he is a settha. No. Settha is one who has Vijja Charana Sampanna. That's what it says in the end. If at all you want to put a class, it's not by these 4 or 5. That is what he also added, the ascetic. So you can't put them as samana as itself as one class and say that is the best. No.
No, but if someone have Vijacharana Sampanno, those are kind of a class. I mean, however.
No, you can take it as a class, but in the Buddha Dhamma there is no class. There is only two. Again, only Sekha and Asekha. It's like going to the school and you're actually graduated, and that's it. That's all what it is. It's got nothing to do with. I can internally feel that I'm in the first grade and second grade and third grade and 10th grade and 12th grade and whatever grade I want to give. But if you really see, it's between a kindergarten to a graduation. So if you're on the path, you'll start from a kindergarten and end up in a graduate.
Yeah, I'm not saying we have to distinguish between first and second, third. I'm just saying between ungraduate, between the
I don't know why you want to do that. It becomes duality. See, you will never be able to achieve it. If you keep in the mind any kind of distinction, you're not going to achieve it. Because the very fact that it's like mirror image and saying that I need to be that, and you will never be that, because the both are not true. The experiencer and experienced are not true. So you will end up being that, meaning you will end up having that. So what is that we are trying to do is to just go on the path, that is the Noble Eightfold Path, which will tell you that, okay, Sammaditi, Samma Sankapo, like that, if you were to go, you will start walking from Sotapanna stage, not a class stage, to an Arhat stage. That's it. So you are learning how to walk there, and Arhat is the one who has walked. So if you were to call it as a class, it becomes wrong because you are also in the same walking. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not using this word of class. I mean, this class, we don't.
But if you want to discriminate, there's nothing to discriminate, is what I'm saying. Why you want to discriminate?
But let's say Arhat is more worthy of, let's say.
No, it's not like that. What he says, Sotapanna is worthy of gifts. A Sakadagami is also worthy of gifts. Anagami is also worthy of gifts, and Arhat is worthy of gifts. But if you were to ask me who is the most worthiest because he has developed Vidyacharana Sampanna, it's Arhat. So, see, Aryu, that's the reason Buddha never in any of the sutta says that an Anagami is superior. In no sutta he says Sakadagami is superior. In no place he says Sotapanna is superior. In no place he even says Arhat is superior. It's only ending at defilements. Why? If you give like that, mind would latch onto it. So it's like it wants that. When you want it, it creates an existence. However, what are we trying to do is to end the suffering, the end the existence. So if I call it by class or discrimination or this or that or by whatever way I would like to define it, I am creating dukkha. Yes, there is dukkha. There is niramisa dukkha, no samisa dukkha. There is dukkha. So, like me, as an example, if I take, then when will I reach is a dukkha. That restlessness is there. Or am I doing things right? That worry is there. That anxiety is there. Right? But that's not a discrimination per se when compared to Arhat.
Yeah, yeah. I guess you've made it pretty clear we should not make much value, like a value difference in these kind of existences, but still the aspiration of becoming higher is
No, that is what it
necessary.
is. That is niramisa dukkha. That has got nothing to do with this. You will genuinely have niramisa dukkha, which is understandable. It's very much understandable. See, example. If Ashutosh again were to say to me that, sir, you are such a great person, you are higher than me and this and that, should I take it? No. Should I allow him to do it? No. Because that creates distortion in his mind. That shouldn't be done. And should I take it? No, because it creates the same distortion in my mind. So there are only two. If you were to call it as a class or a discrimination or whatever you want to call it as, you have a learner class and a learned class. We're learning to walk on the Dhamma. We're learning. So we might fall down, we might do mistakes, we might commit some idiotic things. That's fair. But the learned who has completed the training, do anything like that. Because his defilements are ended. My defilements are not ended, and hence I am a learner. It doesn't matter whether I'm at your level or higher than your level, or I'm at higher than Ashutosh level, or same to Ashutosh level, or whatever level that we can think of. It is of no use because we are on the path. See, Aryu, it's like this. I might be slightly in the front and I can see the road clearly. You might be slightly behind, and the road, because there are so much of traffic, it is blocking. So you're asking me that, Vilas, how do I go from here? I say, hey, don't worry, you're on the right road. Just follow me. That's exactly what we're doing. So there's nothing to be felt set about. Yes.
Yeah, but I guess if you have crossed, and then if people want to venerate you and do other those things, it's okay to accept, right? But because you've crossed and there's no distortion that's going to be created in your
Agreed.
mind.
But then what happens is just like I join an organization and I'm put on a training period of 18 months. Right? I am on probation. And I've already been taken as a senior software engineer. But my skill set and the new skill set are two different things. And they say that this is our path. These are our milestones. If you were to achieve these milestones, at the end of it, we will confirm you. After 18 months probation, in that probation, you will not be given any kind of raise, you will not be given any kind of benefits. You will have to strive. And these are our milestone, exactly fitting every 3 months. Every quarter, we will evaluate. And I put in my hard efforts to meet first quarter and second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. So 1 year over, fifth quarter, sixth quarter, right? So in the sixth quarter, they evaluate and say that, Vilas, congratulations, you have walked successfully. And we have been comparing your steps you've taken, and it makes us very confident that you are now part of our team. There's nothing we need to evaluate you any longer. There's no need to even have a manager for you because you're self managed now. All this while, we had put somebody to see whether you're doing it right or not. Now that you have walked yourself and you have been proficient, we are giving you all the benefits because no longer you require anything to be supervised. Okay, now I have completed my journey, which I knew if I were to go on this road, that journey will get completed. It might got extended. It might have gone to 24 months if I had failed in any of the quarters. But since I did not fail in any of the quarters, I got confirmed that I am part of that team, which is called as Arhat team. Nothing has changed per se, but there is no need for supervisor. There's no need for supervision. There's no need for anything at all because all of them act the same. Right. Now, if someone is made a trainee and I've been told, hey Vilas, you know what? This is a new trainee. He is interested in getting into our team. Can you guide him? And that's what an Arhat is going to do. He's going to guide that person, saying that whether he is capable of doing it or not. Maybe his probation is for 5 years, or it can be for 7 years, it can be for 10 years, it can be for 1 year, depending upon how his mental state is. So that Arhat might say that, hey, you know what? Want to do it, it's good, but you're not yet there, so why don't you go on a lesser training regime? Right? This is very too much for you. It's too much overwhelming for you. So we'll give you something which is short. So this milestone, what we are going to call you is a Sotapanna. Okay, that's all what you need to do. Don't have to worry about other things. So let's first settle this out for you. And that makes that person very glad that when compared to Pottujana, who doesn't know anything, at least I'm going to learn something out of it. So that's exactly what he does. He's given 18 months period to prove that he has all the ability what is required for a Sotapanna. And once he has produced that proof, and then that team will say, congratulations, welcome to this team. You are now part of our team, but not exactly our team. You got it. So you're part of our organization, the Buddha Dhamma. But you are not yet there. So you require further more training. Yes.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, just hearing this story, it doesn't mean that, as a Puthujjana, he wants to become a Sotapanna, this aspiration is going to stop him from becoming that, right? So that's required in that sense.
Yes, that is required. But once he is on the track, once he's been defined as a Sotapanna, no further thing is stated.
Okay. So you're saying between the Puthujjana and all the Arya, you could say there's a class.
Yes.
And because even when Buddha walked, I was watching these videos of, when the Dipankara Buddha was walking and the Gautama was like a person and he would put his body on the ground so he can walk. Like it's a huge amount of veneration there, right? So there's definitely, I feel it's a healthy thing in that way.
No,
In some way.
venerating is different. See, I think you're mixing things up. So when we talk about these kind of classes, what we spoke about, including ascetic, they are coming from the same place. They are not separate beings. They are the same people or same beings. People again becomes one class of being, the same being. So when we see anyone, we can see that they started from Abhasara realm, right? And when I see different class of beings like birds or insects or this or that, my mind shouldn't go and recognize them as a separate being. Instead, I need to know that they are from Abhasara realm. Got it? Now, coming to Buddha Dhamma per se, what I'm trying to say is in Buddha Dhamma, there are no classes. And he's clarified there. If you want to call somebody as a setter, foremost, it is that person who has Vidya Charana Sampanno, not anybody else. So if a Sotapanna is having Vidya Charana Sampanna, then he becomes an Arhat. He finishes the journey. That's it. So there's no class, there's no distinction, there is no discrimination. Veneration is different. I need to venerate. I need to venerate Sotapanna. I need to venerate a Sakadagami. I need to venerate an Anagami. I need to venerate an Arhat because they have done something far better than a normal person. Assuming I am a normal person and I want those qualities in me, so I want to join that group. This group, what I am today, is going to cause many rebirths. But this group, what I'm going to join, helps me in coming out of rebirth. So the what we can say, the ideology here is have abundance rebirth, and here cut the rebirth. If I, as a Puttujana, looks into it and I feel that, oh, you know what, the suffering is going to be there in every birth, so why don't I learn from them to cut the rebirth, right? So there is a class distinction between the Pottujana who don't know there is rebirth versus them who knows rebirth. Pottujana don't know the defilements, whereas the Arya, they know the defilements. Pottujana don't have knowledge that they all started from the same place. The Arya know that they all, everyone, including them, started from the same place. Yes.
I guess to kind of summarize what you said, as a Puttujana, it's good to have this veneration for this group because it helps you get into the stream. But once you started on the path, you should drop all distinctions.
Yes, because in Buddha Dhamma, there is no distinction. There's only two. One is you're a Sekha. A Sekha, only two things. There's no in between. There's nothing called as he's a better person. Just for like a consolation prize, I can give one certificate. I think that, oh, between the Sotapanna and Arhat, we since you walked on this milestone, congratulations, you are now been handed over this a small token called as Sakadagami.
I guess my argument was I mean even previous was not so much on these intermediate, but between art or even someone who has Vijayacharana Sampanna. Like I guess not all arhat will have those two, right? I guess
No,
Buddha will for
they
sure.
get the Vidya, they get the Charana Dhamma. They might not have the all the six Vidya.
Yes, so Charana will be there, but Vijaya may not be there.
All the six of them might not be there. They can get into Panya Vimukti instead of Cheto Vimukti. Somebody is having a Cheto Vimukti along with Panya Vimukti, then he has the psychic powers and all that, and that the six things there. If somebody is so much blocked from the beginning that he can only have Panya Vimukti, then he might not have any of the psychic powers or anything that can something different.
Mm.
In that case, he has only Charana Dhamma, doesn't have these six Vidya. only one vidya he gets out of the six is that his defilements have ended, and he knows that the defilements have ended. That means the other five might not be noticed. Yes.
Yeah. I remember reading some sutta, or I mean, I'm not exactly clear, but let's say someone from the Sangha died back in Buddha's time. They'll have different form of ceremony depending on. I mean, the arhat will be treated in a more respected way, right? And that is there.
That because he's ascec, and I don't know
Okay.
why you are stuck up on that discrimination. Ascec is a person who don't require any further training, and that's what I said. In this organization, the moment you completed your probationary period of 18 months or whatever that is given to you, and you have proven sufficiently that you don't require any further training, there's no supervisor required. Whereas for others, the supervisor is. So when this person ends the journey, and it means he leaves the organization, he's treated differently. Why? Because he has ended the journey.
Yeah. I think I've understood those things you said.
Yes, but one thing you need to understand is the moment you create a discrimination, the suffering here is that you want that. And when you want that, you have created duality. And when you create duality, it doesn't work. Okay, there are two suttas of that. For that, I don't want to introduce you to those two suttas. Yesterday, I said about that Magandiya sutta, but today I don't want to tell you the other sutta, because we have to get to that level when we can know that this is also not required and that is also not required, and hence you are relieved or released. If my mind holds on to the thinking that that is required and this is not required, then that creates a problem. This is the conceptual problem of Vedanta. If you go by Vedantic view, it works very well till it comes very nice one to one till the Buddha Dhamma, exactly online. But here Buddha Dhamma supersedes, goes higher than the Vedanta, is because I'll tell you the reason. So they have a typical um, explanation that this is the pot and this is the clay, right? From the clay comes the pot. Agreeable. You can have hundreds different kind of pot, but only one single clay. Right. This is Brahman. The clay is Brahman. Pots are Jagat. They can be have various class of beings, all coming from the same source, that is Brahman or Brahma realm, right? And they
Which is kind of equal to this Abhasara.
Abhasara. So it comes back to the same thing here. But how will you end the journey? So what happens, Ariyu, is that I can work out on oneness. From diversity, which is the five senses, I can work out on oneness where I don't see distinctions. When I don't see distinction, I am ready to drop the pot, holding on to the clay. But the problem with clay is, as long as I hold on to the clay, so long the pots can be made. The defilements have not ended. I have purified the mind to an extent that I can go back to the clay instead of the pot. But how will I drop the clay also? And that is the only there in Buddha Dhamma. Nowhere else. You can't find it. Yes.
Yes, so I think I understand. I think I understand this Vedanta explanation. So back to the distinction creates hindrance, right? In general, I have now understood that more there's the craving for something, the more it hinders it, right? But let's say sometime you want to reach a goal, and then you reach it. So I mean, of course, if too much craving blocks it, this much is understood. But this distinction, you said, as long as there's this distinction, it doesn't work. Does this only work at arhat level or work at all levels? It'll
No,
so
what I'm again, you have come back to the same point. There's only two. One is Sekha, one is Asekha. If you want to distinguish, it's only these two. So while in Sekha, I can have Niramisa Dukkha. And there are various suttas for that, where Buddha says this is a natural tendency to feel that you need to end the journey, you need to become an arhat. That is going to be there. Okay. You are frozen. I don't know if
uh,
ah,
okay.
now it is
Am I
fine.
back?
Yes,
Okay.
you're back. You're back. So it's very clear, simple, straight, right? So you're standing on this place. You have to go to this place. So this is far shore. Sorry, near shore, and this is the far shore. So you have to take a raft. So Buddha gives you a raft for crossing from the far shore or from near shore to the far shore. So this is the place where you don't return back. This is the place where you keep on returning back. So now you started, and Buddha gives you the path to end the journey here. While in the journey, you want to say that where am I? So he has spread it out into three parts. Sotapanna, Sakatagami, Anagami, all in Sekha only. Just to motivate that, you know what, you have started as Sotapanna, now you're Sakatagami, so the person feels happy. And from Sakatagami, he is getting into Anagami, he feels happy. That's all what it is. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I understand your example, and I understand to reach arhat, right? You have to drop all conception and duality because that's what will stop you from going there. But let's say as a Sotapanna, let's say I had an intermediate goal of wanting to become Sakaragami. Does that become a hard roadblocker for achieving that? Is my question.
It doesn't, as long as you're a Sekha.
Okay. Okay.
Meaning for Sotapanna, Sakatagami, Anagami, the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So aspiring to become an Anagami, aspiring to become a Sakatagami is same. No issues.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. But aspiring to become an Arhat is a Niramisa Dukkha.
Yes.
And he has to take that. Not easy because it's the pot and the clay. He has understood the clay. The play of the clay he has understood. So he has dropped the pot. Fine. But has he
Yeah.
dropped the clay itself? That's Arhat.
I think I've understood to reach arhat, it takes extraordinary measure. You have to drop all seeking to get there, right? Because it's ultimately you have to let go of all the things. But before that point, there still could be that, even though it's still letting go. That is understood.
If you take the Dhamma, there are only two. But if you take within the Dhamma, there are three. You're completely frozen. Now I can see you.
Okay.
Okay, so see, just to conclude on this area is that you take from pure Dhamma point of view, there are only two. Either you're a trainee or you're non-trainee, only two, right? There's no in between. If you take within trainee, there are three. So you can aspire, absolutely fair. But Arhat is non-aspiring state, right? So I can't become I can't say I want to be an Arhat.
Yes.
The very wanting creates hindrances.
Understood.
Yeah, so Anagami is easy because it's a trainee, it's just a trainee. Arhat is difficult
Absolutely.
because you also have to drop Buddha Dhamma. You have to stand on your own. So he completed the training, and that is not easy. So the obstacles which comes for an arhat is far higher, and that's the reason he says higher fetters than the obstacle which comes for a trainee, lower fetters. Kamachanda Vyapada is not a big deal. Actually, once you know it, it's very simple. But Ruparaga is not simple. It's so subtle that dropping it off is like bombing yourself, and you will not. Ashutosh is completely silent, so let's hear from him.
Sir, I'm just listening. This wonderful talking you are doing, and I'm just listening to it. And I'm learning so many new things today. So it's good that we are discussing all this Ganeshotta and how we can proceed towards our journey. So we are getting so much information. It's
Right.
good.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
And now I can see Aryu is much more happier.
You mean compared to 30 minutes ago, or?
No, compared to your
No,
Bodh
like
Gaya
compared
experience.
to the Bodh Gaya trip. No, I have also told you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now he's
I guess he has also made the Sankalpa like you did.
I've relaxed quite a bit. I
There's
mean,
some problem with my like issue with like there is cloudy weather, so
what? I couldn't understand the last sentence. Ashutosh?
I said that there is a because of the cloudy weather. Yes, sir.
No, we couldn't understand the last sentence what you said.
Let me. So there's some problem, some issue with my phone, like
Ah,
because of the cloudy weather. I'm not getting that kind of like the videos getting breaking. The voice, my voice could be breaking because of the cloudy weather. That's what I'm saying.
okay, got it. So the thing for our practice, especially for our practice, is to see all being started at Abhasa. Okay, and we all have deteriorated in one way or the other way. So let us not worry about how did we deteriorate and why happened, how it happened. Somebody is good or somebody is bad. So for my meditation subject, it should be that we all are radiant light. That solves the problem of holding on to something of distinction, class distinction. That will go away. So you can achieve oneness. When you achieve oneness, the beauty of that is you have come into the last stage of Vedanta, where you see you in everything. Okay, that keeps you happy. That's a minimum standard program. So, what we are calling as somebody self realized is a Sotapanna state in Buddha Shasana. What has he understood? He has understood that I am no different than anyone else. That makes him literally calm. That is Sotapanna. And hence he will not do any mistakes. Meaning he will not do six kind of sins. It will take him into the pies. Then he gradually grows to becoming a Sakadagami. So, what we call a self realized working towards liberation is the first stage, which is Sakadagami in the Buddha Shasana. And after that, the second stage, which is the Anagami, where the Kamachanda and Vyapada are not there, basically. Because he has let out what? The sexual fantasy before he lost from the Abhasara. It's come back. Yes.
Sir, as you are talking about the Rupa Raga and Arupa Raga, like I'm talking about your status, like your mental status. Have you ever experienced Arupa Loka? So how, if I do not know anything, how can there is a raga for that kind of thing? Suppose I have not experienced Arupa, I have not seen Arupa. So how can I develop the raga for Arupa?
You would know it, meaning you will first experience it, and you will definitely come to know that that is arupa based upon the body feelings, what you're going to get, because there is no body also, but the feeling is so totally dramatically different that it is totally floating. You feel that you're literally floating in the clouds, as an example, if I were to give. Or when you see everything is expansive, 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 expansive without a break, it's expansive, you know that this is infinite space. You don't have to be taught because you already know it. It's not that you are learning something new. You are exploring yourself, which was there. As the defilement starts to end, so this will start to work out.
But this Abhasaram realm is not part of the Arupa realm, right? Or
Wait for a second. Now I knew that this problem is going to come. Since he asked me, I'm trying to see. First, you have to come to one level, and then you yourself will come to know. You don't require anybody's help to know that. And once you experience, you get the raga for that. You want it again and again and again and again, so you develop a raga. Example,
So in your
you eat a chocolate, very tasty. You not like to eat another one of the same kind.
yes,
Should you be taught again? Hey, come on, take that chocolate. You
no,
will eat it. You will eat it. Do you require any help in eating that chocolate? No. You just go to
yes,
you'll go to the refrigerator, open it up. You know which chocolate is that. You know the flavor. You don't have to be taught. Hey, take this flavor, take that flavor. There are 4 flavors. One is infinite space. Second flavor is infinite consciousness. Third flavor is nothingness. Fourth flavor is neither perception nor non-perception. You take that flavor, put it in the mouth. Now you don't require anybody's help to again and again go and eat it. The same way this happens. But the raga will
okay,
develop.
yes. So in your case, because now you have attained like certain, like in your case now you have become Hanagami, so now you are experiencing all these kind of things. But
Yes.
for us, because we have not experienced, so that's why
Correct.
raga is not
So
developed
for that
in
you
us.
require for that you require training. Here there's no training required.
Hmm.
Anyway, let's end for today. Too much of load will become a problem. In the evening today, we will attempt get into the 4th chant in 1.5 hours. Let's try. Let's try.
Okay, sir.
Let's try. Let's try. You work
So
out
you
on your sila.
don't take jhana so seriously.
No,
I
no.
just want to tell you that don't take it so seriously that you will attend for jhana in
Yeah.
just 1.5 hours.
Thank you.
We are just
Try.
going to
So
give it a try.
don't take too much to your heart. Keep your sila today completely for the day. Be in sati. It helps you in doing this.
Okay, sir. We will try in the evening.
Okay. All right. Good night, Aryu, and a good day to you, Ashutosh.
Good day, sir.
Yeah, thank you
Good night,
for
everyone.
Bye.
keep on reminding me, Ashutosh.
Bye.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, bye.